Good morning, good people. How you doing? How you been? I'm Arthur Daniels, and yes, I am back again. Well, without any further ado, come on in. Let's have a talk. Today's conversation is going to be about love languages. And if you've heard anything about love languages, there's 5 love languages. And I was talking to a good friend of mine. We were able to maintain friendship after a relationship, which is not always easy to do. But in this particular case, we were both mature adults. And so we were able to maintain that relationship, which is awesome. So we were having a discussion about the love languages, and he was taking notes on how I felt about it. And one of the key things for me before we even get into love languages, as I expressed to him, is first and foremost, when I first heard about these love languages, what I thought was that however your love language is, that's how you give love, and people have to receive love the way you give love. Not true. The love languages is about identifying what your love language is, how love resonates with you, how you feel about it, and how you want to receive things. And then the other individual has their own way of wanting to receive things. So a lot of times when you first become involved with someone, you don't really know their love language. So you give them your love language. And that's what happened between us. And what caused the breakdown is he continued to give me his love language. And it was difficult for me to always receive his love language and not have him give me my love language. But I told him, I said, first of all, you have to identify what love is, because love in and of itself is, you have to first see love. So you have to, acknowledge what you see, be attracted to what you see. And then you need to hear love. You need to hear, I love you, and have that reciprocated, and have your partner hear you tell them you love them the same. But it's easy to say, I love you. So not only do you need to hear it, you need to feel it. And so then once you see it, you hear it, and you feel it, then you can engage in the acts of love, which lead into your particular love language. Now, they have 5, and I don't know them all by heart, so I'll read them. Not in any particular order. There's words of affirmation. This words that you use to affirm one another, like great job, or, you did a beautiful thing there. That kind of stuff. That actually is my number one. That is my number one love language. I love words of affirmation. I like to know that I'm appreciated, I'm valued, I'm wanted. And the way for me to know and understand that is to hear them being spoken to me. And then there's physical touch. Now, as you know, I'm a writer, and I write a little bit of erotica, but I really write romantic love. Very descriptive romantic love. And so because that is what I write, he interpreted that to mean that was my number one love language, was, I want physical touch all the time. No, not all the time. And then the third one is, oh my gosh, I lost the page. Okay, the third one is quality time. Now, I'm actually reading these in the order that is my love language. Quality time. Quality time is so important, not just with your lover, but for me, quality time with family and people I care about, doing things, getting to know people. That kind of interaction is extremely important to me. And then acts of service. Now, I am a giver, so I have no problem giving acts of service. I have a difficult time receiving acts of service, and that's why it's low on my list, because when you do something for me, I always feel like I have to give something back. Like if you buy me flowers, if my person buys me flowers, I always feel like I have to pay for those flowers. I don't just get free flowers. I have to do something very special to have received those flowers. And that's just me. That's not really always the case or how it is, but that's just me. You give me flowers, I'm going to pay for those flowers. That might be a little TMI, so shh, don't tell nobody, but that's my business. Anyway, and the last one is receiving gifts. Again, it's hard for givers to receive gifts. It's not a competition. You can't, it's like trying to beat God giving. You can't outbeat a gift giver. So there's no need to even engage in that activity. But just because a person is a giver doesn't mean that they don't also enjoy receiving. And I do like to receive gifts, especially flowers. But at any rate, gift giving is a beautiful thing. And you don't want to be remiss of any of these things in the service of relationship. And you don't want to be, communication was not one of the love language mentioned, but it's in there. And it's all about communication, because how you going to, words of affirmation, again, communication, physical touch, communicating with your body, quality time, you're communicating, you're being together, acts of service. You don't know what kind of acts of service is going to be appreciated or needed if you haven't communicated. And receiving gifts, again, you want to communicate that and acknowledge that you appreciate having received said gift. So even though communication is not mentioned in acts of love, it is the totality of love language. So communication, it's key. And that's how you learn your partner's love language. And that's how they learn your love language. So that's my take on the love languages, is understanding how love begins, how to nurture love, and how to flow through love. So love is it's a beautiful thing, and it's defined and qualified and quantified and described and interpreted in many different ways. But at the end of the day, don't forget to communicate. Communication is key. I took actually a love class once. It was a class on how to give a BJ. And it was a fun class. But one of the things that the instructor was saying was, let your partner know that you like what's happening, that you like what's going on. And the only way you could let them know, don't stop, continue that, is if you verbally say these things. Don't allow your intimacy experience to be a guessing game. Be audible, be engaged, and encourage your partner. And that's how you have the greatest experience you could have. The greatest intimacy experience you could ever have, as my mother told me, it's not going to be with someone you do not know. So you cannot say that the greatest experience you've ever had is with a one-night stand when you do not know that person. It's when you really get to know them and they really get to know you, and you get to understand how your body flows and the things that please you. That's what makes great sex. Anyway, that could go on and on for a long time. There's a lot of information to be gleaned and gathered on that topic, but I'm going to conclude right here. So I'm going to say, in the meantime, in between time, whatever you're doing, always take care of you, love yourself, and enjoy your life. I'm Arthur Daniels. Mwah! Y'all be good.